I never thought the man I'd loved with my whole heart would one day look me straight in the eyes and say, "Economy mode only for you, babe." Those words landed like a quiet punch. Not loud, not angry, just casual, like he was joking about the weather. But they cracked something deep inside me that has never quite healed the same way. My name is Mira, and for 10 years, I was the woman behind everything he built. We met when we were 23, two dreamers with empty pockets and big plans. He wanted to create a tech startup that would change how people budgeted their lives. I believed in him so fiercely that I put my own dreams on hold. I worked double shifts as a nurse, cooked meals at midnight, and celebrated every tiny win with him in our tiny one-room apartment. When investors finally noticed him, I was the one cheering loudest. I thought we were a team. I thought us meant forever. Success came fast after that. The company exploded. Suddenly, there were luxury cars, private dinners, and first-class trips he called business necessities. His wardrobe filled with designer labels. Our home, though, it stayed exactly the same. Faded curtains, the same old sofa, and grocery lists that never stretched beyond the basics. Whenever I gently asked for something nicer, a weekend getaway, a new dress for a company event, even just better seats on a flight, he would flash that charming smile and say the same line, "Economy mode only for you, darling. We have to stay grounded, right? Can't lose our roots." I laughed along every time. I told myself it was sweet, that he was being responsible. But the truth was slowly sinking in. He flew business class to meetings while I stayed home. He gifted himself a Rolex for hitting targets, but my birthday present was a practical blender because we need to save. I felt smaller every day, like I was the only one still living in the struggle we had escaped together. That last trip to Singapore was supposed to be our anniversary celebration. At the airport, he handed me my boarding pass with a little wink. "I've got the business seat, last-minute upgrade for the client call, but you'll be fine back there. Economy mode only for you, darling." He kissed my forehead like it was the most normal thing in the world, then disappeared behind the lounge curtain where champagne and warm towels waited. I sat in 38K, knees pressed against the seat in front of me, staring at the divider that separated his world from mine. Tears burned behind my sunglasses. I kept replaying every sacrifice, every late night, every time I chose him over me. And for the first time, a tiny whisper of doubt crept in. But what I didn't know that day was that the real heartbreak was already waiting for me at home. 2 weeks later, I found the messages. I wasn't even snooping. His laptop was open on the dining table while he was in the shower, and a notification lit up the screen. It was from someone named Elena. The preview line read, "Can't stop thinking about our Maldives trip next month. Business class both ways, my love." My hands shook as I opened the folder. Hotel bookings, first-class tickets, restaurant receipts totaling more than my yearly clothing budget, all charged to the company card. Photos of them laughing on a yacht, her wearing the exact diamond bracelet he once told me we couldn't afford right now. In one picture, he was kissing her temple the same way he used to kiss mine. I felt the floor disappear beneath me. When he stepped out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, I was still sitting there with the laptop open. The color drained from his face, but only for a second. Then the mask slipped back on. "Mira, it's not what you think." I cut him off, voice trembling. "You told me we had to save. You made me feel selfish for wanting anything more than economy mode. And you've been taking her on trips I could only dream about?" He sighed like I was the dramatic one. "Elena understands the pressure I'm under. You've changed, Mira. You're always tired, always complaining. I needed someone who makes me feel alive again." Those words destroyed me. I cried for days in the guest room, replaying every moment I had defended him to my family, every time I chose loyalty over my own dignity. I felt exposed, broken, worthless. The woman who had held him up when the world doubted him was now being discarded like last season's budget item. I stopped eating properly. I stopped smiling. Friends noticed, but I couldn't bring myself to tell them the full truth. At night, I would stare at the ceiling and wonder what was wrong with me, that I wasn't enough anymore. But pain has a way of sharpening you. One quiet morning, after another sleepless night, something shifted inside me. The tears dried up, and a cold, clear strength took their place. I realized I had spent 10 years building his empire while forgetting to build my own. I started small. While he was at the office, or with her, I opened a secret bank account with the little money I had quietly saved from my nursing shifts over the years. I reached out to an old college friend who ran a successful lifestyle brand and asked for advice. I had always been good at turning nothing into something beautiful, styling our tiny apartment on a shoestring, creating beautiful meals from basic ingredients. I decided it was time the world saw that talent. I began documenting everything, not just the affair, every economy mode comment, every receipt, every late night, quietly, carefully, because I knew the man who once needed me now saw me as disposable, and I refused to stay that way. The revenge didn't come with shouting or scandal. It came with silence and success. I launched my brand quietly at first, Economy Mode Living, a simple Instagram page where I showed women how to create luxury lives on limited budgets. I used the very phrase he had thrown at me like a weapon and turned it into something powerful. My videos went viral. Women related. Companies noticed. Within 6 months, I had brand deals, a book contract, and a wait list for my online courses. Meanwhile, I met with a lawyer in secret. The evidence I had gathered was airtight. Financial records, messages, even hotel CCTV stills a private investigator quietly obtained. When the divorce papers were served, he was in the middle of a big investor meeting. He stormed home that evening, face red. "Mira, what the hell is this? You're ruining everything." I stood tall in the same living room where I had once cried myself to sleep. "No, Arjun, you ruined us the day you decided I only deserved economy mode while you lived like a king with someone else. I'm just collecting what I earned." The court battle was swift and decisive. The judge saw the pattern of emotional neglect and hidden assets. I walked away with half the company's shares, the house, and enough to launch my dream boutique studio. His investors pulled out when whispers of the affair reached them. Elena left him the moment the money stopped flowing. 3 months later, I was invited to speak at a major women's empowerment summit. I stepped onto the stage in a beautiful dress I had bought with my own money. No more economy mode for me. And there in the 3rd row sat Arjun. He had aged in those months. His eyes met mine, and for the first time, I saw something I had never seen before. Regret. I smiled, not with triumph, but with peace. That night, as I flew home in business class, paid for by my own success, I looked out the window at the clouds and felt the last piece of my broken heart settle back into place. If there's one thing I want every woman listening to remember, it's this. Never let anyone convince you that you only deserve the economy version of life. The person who belittles your worth is the one who is afraid of how brightly you can shine once you stop shrinking for them. Betrayal hurts. It shatters you. But sometimes the most beautiful revenge isn't destroying the other person. It's becoming the woman they could never afford to lose. I'm Mira now, fully upgraded, and I finally understand. The best love story is the one you write for yourself. Thank you for listening. If you've ever been kept in economy mode by someone who promised you the world, this one's for you. You are worth first class. Always.